Every country is different, and every country's laws are different. Sometimes this is simply because of a difference in culture or perhaps historical precedents that were set there previously. However, some laws across the world are simply ridiculous, and even the people who live in the countries where they exist don't understand them. Today, I've compiled a list of some of the most absurd laws from across the world. It's illegal to run out of gas on the German Autobahn. While it is completely legal to drive at speeds over 100 miles per hour on the Autobahn, if you run out of gas on the famous road, you can face hefty fines. And if you do empty your gas tank, don't even think about walking to a gas station because there's another fine for that. The reasoning behind this law is that you should have planned ahead because it is too dangerous to stop or walk alongside the Autobahn. Make sure to fill up before hitting the road because you'll run out even faster than usual when you're driving at such high speeds. This next law probably isn't an issue to many people, but if you planned on hiking naked while in Switzerland, you're liable to be fined for it. After Swiss and German travelers decided to start hiking naked in the 2010s, Swiss officials passed the law and reminded people that public indecency isn't okay, even in the middle of the woods. In 2011, one man was fined more than $100 for his naked nature walk. Sorry to all those people that like to dress up like knights, but it is illegal to wear a suit of armor in the British Parliament. There's an ancient law that was passed in 1313 that prohibits it. While it may not be enforced anymore, you're probably better off leaving the armor at home for your next trip to Parliament. It could happen to anyone. You travel to Scotland, have a bit too much whiskey, then decide you want to ride a cow. While this may seem like a good idea at the time, just know that you could get a ticket for it. The full law, which was passed in 1872, states that you may not be drunk when riding a cow, horse, carriage, or steam engine. It may be tempting to get a good picture for Instagram, but don't take that selfie with Buddha in Sri Lanka. To do so, you'd have to turn your back on the massive statue, which is a serious sign of disrespect. That is punishable by imprisonment. Probably not worth it. You should also avoid pointing your finger at Buddha because that is a sign of disrespect as well. While having a water gun fight isn't my typical idea of a New Year's celebration, apparently it became such an issue in Cambodia that it was banned. New Year's celebrations got so intense in the country's capital of Siem Reap that the sale and use of water pistols is banned leading up to, and on the day of, the big celebration. The ban was implemented to prevent public disorder as well as traffic accidents. Just plan your water fight on another day, because any other time of year is completely acceptable. It is illegal to die in the French town of Sarre-Pourenx without previously having purchased a burial plot. Apparently, there was a recurring issue of people just dying and expecting to be buried. How inconsiderate of them, right? The mayor issued an edict strictly forbidding the act of dying within city limits if they didn't have somewhere to be buried. The edict states that people who break this law will be punished severely, but does not clarify how. If you're attending a wedding in South Australia and the officiant asks if there are any objections, it's a trick question. It's illegal to disrupt a wedding in South Australia. If you do, you can be fined up to $10,000 and spend a maximum of 2 years in jail. It's probably best to keep your thoughts to yourself. It's also illegal to climb trees in Ontario. This includes Ottawa, Toronto, and even the middle of the forest. You can be punished with a hefty fine if caught climbing without a permit. In 2013, a young tree climber was handed a $365 ticket when caught in the branches of a tree in Bellevue Square Park. There's a reason Japan is one of the healthiest looking nations in the world. You cannot be overweight in Japan. In a nationwide effort to prevent obesity, Japan created the Metabo Law, which requires citizens aged 40 to 74 to have an annual waist measurement performed by a doctor. You will receive a fine if you're a man with a measurement over 33.5 inches or a woman with a measurement over 35.4 inches. Only sumo wrestlers are exempt from this law because, well, obvious reasons. Another place eager to promote good health is the Indian state of Kerala, where a fat tax has been implemented. The tax is an extra 14.5% and is applied to unhealthy foods such as pizza, burgers, and donuts. Be careful with your freshwater fish in the UK, because under the Salmon Act of 1986, Parliament deemed it illegal to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances across the UK. This law also applies to trout, smelt, lampreys, and eels, but does not actually specify what is considered suspicious. Bears are not native to South Africa, but if you are planning on importing one and then wrestling it, you'd better change your plans. It's illegal to wrestle bears in South Africa. If you're living in France and want to name your pet pig, you can name it pretty much anything except Napoleon. At least that's what the original law stated, but it has since been expanded to include all heads of state. As of 2013, it is no longer directly a criminal offense, but if you did name your pig after a political figure, it is still possible that you could be charged with slander or defamation under the country's strict laws regarding the subject. You better get all your cleaning done during the afternoon if you live in Melbourne, Australia, because if you want to vacuum your house between 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. during weekdays, or 10 p.m. to 9 a.m. on weekends, you will face a fine for noise pollution. In St. Kitts, a Caribbean nation, it is illegal to use profanity in public, and doing so will result in a large fine. Just ask the rapper 50 Cent, who was arrested during this concert there in 2016 for swearing during his performance. The incident resulted in a fine of $1,100. Canada is famous for being proud of its heritage, and that includes its music. That's why Canadian radios must play music performed by natives at least 35% of the time from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That means for every hour of Canadian radio you listen to, you'll be hearing 21 minutes of Justin Bieber, or one of Canada's many other talented artists. While a lot of these laws only apply to obscure situations that a lot of people will never be in or are not actually enforced anymore, you can now travel a bit more confidently knowing what to avoid doing. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Comment below which of these laws was your favorite, or if you know any others that could have been included. Thanks for watching. See you next time.